like to talk a little bit about now is more sort of the practical aspect of things. So what I'd like to understand are at two levels. At the federal level, how are agencies utilizing OSCAL? How are they currently, what's the current activity going on? How are they currently utilizing it? And what are you seeing in the private sector and how the private sector is utilizing OSCAL within their solutions, within their tools as well?
We are in a phase of transferring the technology. So after we release OSCAL 1.0, and even before that, we had a lot of several entities, collaborators out there that were pioneers in the field and adopted OSCAL, seeing the benefits. So OSCAL is not applicable or beneficial in automating the security assessment of cloud-based solutions only. I alluded a little bit earlier that OSCAL was designed to support multiple regulatory frameworks. So, and because of that, both public and private sectors can use OSCAL to automate the security assessment of their systems and perform continuous monitoring. But moreover, OSCAL can be used to automate the assessment process for on-premises systems as well. So if you imagine just for a second that an agency might have 15 or 100 internal systems that need to be periodically reassessed and continuously monitored to maintain their ATO. Each system will have a system security plan in human readable format. Each SSP will be like 200 pages document that needs to be reviewed by the assessors and need to plan the assessment first, and then need to perform the actual assessment. So for a system categorization of moderate impact level, for example, a system security plan might need to describe the implementation of 159 controls and 102 controls enhancements, if I'm accurate. I might got this number so slightly off, and I apologize if that's the case. So unless some other controls are tailored out, so it can vary, but that's the magnitude of the effort that it takes to document how a system is secure. So the assessors will have to assess all these controls and enhancements and summarize the assessment results and create POEM when applicable. So the findings are shared with the authorizing officials that need to assume risks to remediate some of the findings and so on. But the scanning results from the GRC tool need to be correlated then and transform from the proprietary formats to human readable to be summarized. So you can probably, just having that pictured in mind, see where and how OSCAL can help having all this information in a machine readable format. But to create information in machine readable format and to use basically the traceability that OSCAL delivered will really reduce this effort tremendously, while it will enhance the accuracy of the process of the assessment and aid all the assessors on, or basically support the assessment process, allowing assessors to focus on what they know the best, what they are good at, doing the assessment, verifying, reviewing the information, and the authorizing officials to have a much faster turnaround and just highlight the findings and keep going with a continuous assessment process if nothing was changed and the systems are still maintaining their security posture as designed.
So they're really incorporating OSCAL within their assessment tools in order to gain this automation and all the benefits of OSCAL. Would that be fair to say?
Right. So you need to invest on converting all the information that you are maintaining or saving in machine readable form, in human readable format, to convert that in machine readable format to be able to employ those tools. And I keep going and telling people that if you invest, you'll have a high return in this investment. There is an initial work labor that you have to do because you need to review that.
Mhm.
We never recommend take what you had with high granularity and use high granularity and use OSCAL, because you are not going to benefit properly from OSCAL. You have to take your time to do that decomposition, to use whatever OSCAL offers to you to the maximum possible, and revisit in that process that the information that you capture there is accurate, and enter into this process. Now, everything that the machines are doing can be easily converted back in human readable information format, as FedRAMP was doing for their process, for the authorizing officials to be able, or other humans to be able to review that. We don't expect humans to have to read machine readable format.
And is the desire, or is there a mandate for OSCAL to be adopted by all federal agencies at some point? I know you have some very close partners that you work with currently, some agencies that you're working with that have really embraced it, but is that the long-term vision, either through sort of a desire, recommendation, or through a mandate? Do you see that happening?
NIST is not the regulatory agency, so NIST will never mandate anything from anybody. In the same time, I know that FedRAMP is been investing, because they are our closer collaborators, and FedRAMP has been investing in OSCAL in automating the process, their provisionally authorization process with OSCAL. They declared in 2019, and they announced officially that they are moving forward with automation of the process in OSCAL. And today, even though I don't speak on behalf of FedRAMP, this is public information, so I think I can relate it here. They are able to accept authorization packages for cloud providers in machine readable format in OSCAL, the format of their choice. So to estimate the benefit of OSCAL, you can think that from the FedRAMP perspective, for example, there are packages that will receive. Well, there is the lowest hanging fruit there will be validation of the packages. So you can look at the packages from completeness and automatically validate the packages. Moreover, those tools that FedRAMP is using are made available to cloud providers to pre-validate the completeness of the package themselves, and not only just the completeness, but also some of the guidance, the tailored parameters or other kind of information to validate that those are satisfied. Those are low-hanging fruits. But then you have a lot of other controls that can be automated as part of the assessment. You can easier design tests, and you can look at them and automate the process. And even when I saw very innovative solutions, that even when there are controls, for example, the door physical controls, security controls, the door in the server room has to be locked. Well, you can still put a layer of automation in there if your tool generates a ticket for the person that has to do that operation. And then once the person executes, goes and verifies that, then it goes and closes the ticket and comes back into and has a proof that that was verified. So the door is closed. So there is a little bit of automation that can go even at that level, and keeping track of that action, as opposed to it says, I'm reading here that I have to do that. It says in the documentation that this is how it has to be, check or not. So it allows you to send that message and to the team and to the person that can do and verify that aspect. So it's very, very beneficial.
And we'll talk about the private sector a little bit more in a second, but I know that in previous conversations, you had mentioned that this is really gaining sort of worldwide adoption, global adoption as well. Can you share some of the partners that you're working with outside the US?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have some numbers that I pull out here just to make sure that I don't misrepresent some of the information and some of the names. So first and the most, linking to the information that I provided before, FedRAMP works with about 200 cloud services. So you can think that if the cloud providers will embrace and will provide the packages in OSCAL, how much faster and how much more repeatable or thorough that assessment process can be. We know that scalability is very important, absolutely. We know that DOJ, the CSAM tool team is supporting OSCAL, and they have 28 agencies that are their customers. And then moving to the private sector, KPMG's assessment and authorization services are reaching into the financial sector. Also, the DoD's EMAS tool is used inside DoD, and they work with FedRAMP, and they are supporting OSCAL. But in 2020, actually, OSCAL officially gained international adoption when Bosch, the Roberts Bosch in Germany, the company, established a cloud certification authority under ENISA and was granted, which was granted actually a mandate by the EU Cybersecurity Act. And I think that they're referring to as to this mandate as the European Union Cloud Service, and there's a broad program for certifications in multiple countries. But Medina program that is established by Bosch is basically using OSCAL as the formats for automating their certification assessment. The certification process. They refer to it as a certification, not assessment. Then in addition to FedRAMP, and those are the ones that I'm listing here, are entities that came forward publicly. So there is no secret during our past workshop. So in addition to FedRAMP and the Bosch, there is the National Renewable Energy Lab that is also government. I mentioned that the KPMG, IBM Research implemented for their cloud customers. IBM, the Trestle, I think, is the compliance Trestle is called. GovReady and C2 Labs, cFocus Software, Sujinko, TELUS, Exacta 360, among others. And of course, big cloud service providers, AWS, Microsoft, and Google, they work with Salesforce. The cloud providers work directly with FedRAMP and running pilots, to my understanding. And then there are many others: Booz Allen, Coalfire, Kratos, Volan Associates, and so on. There are many others that we know and work with, but they did not come themselves forward. So I will refrain from listing their names.
Well, I will come forward and say is Enterprise Health as well has adopted OSCAL in our enterprise risk management platform. So good. Yes, so we're very familiar with it, very proud to be doing that. We certainly saw, as you mentioned, you know, FedRAMP works with so many and federal agencies work with so many different private sector companies in order to provide those services to the federal government. We just saw that it was a matter of time before the private sector adopted as well. If they're incorporating these OSCAL into their tools that they're providing the public sector, they're clearly going to be bringing those into the private sector as well. And Enterprise Health is doing that as well. And in fact, we have incorporated OSCAL and the RMF at the foundation of our risk management framework. So that was
if
great.
You would like your effort to be listed on our website, please let me know. And also there's an OSCAL community. It's called OSCAL Club, where they're collecting or gathering around entities that are supporting OSCAL and listing their efforts there for people to know.
And our development team and our product team has been involved in the OSCAL workshops from the very beginning. So we certainly would love that opportunity. So we'll talk more about that.